My Gaming Edge.
Hey, what's going on, guys? CB with My Gaming Edge. Today I want to talk about the importance of the chemistry between the pocket soldier and the medic. It's the medic's job to sort of keep the pocket soldier alive, and vice versa. It's the pocket soldier's job to keep the medic alive in order for him to get the Uber. I'm going to be going over a bunch of different clips today that demonstrate how to keep your pocket soldier alive while understanding what your other teammates are doing, and not only that, but understanding how the opposing team's Uber is going to affect the outcome of your Uber. So a lot of things go into how my team plays with an Uber. So it's not only, okay, we have Uber, let's go. It's, does the other team have Uber? How is our health on our team? Is the other team flashing, their Uber to different players while we keep ours on just one? Or are we flashing? It's all situational. So I'm going to start out with a few clips on Gullywash because it's just an extremely choke-heavy map. And I'm going to try to demonstrate how to be super aware, keep your game awareness up as a medic while you're Ubering, and not only just focus on who's alive, who needs to be saved, but really keeping your pocket soldier the head of the charge and allowing him to sort of do his job and not have to worry too much about where his medic is or whether or not his medic's going to be able to make it out of the fight. So let's go ahead and take a look at this very first clip. Alright, so here we are paused, and this is MGE versus the Space Whales. So here we have just one mid, and they were able to keep their medic alive with Uber. So what we're going to do is jump Reptile through the choke. He's the roaming soldier. He's going to try to distract or get them to pop their Uber, and then Tyrone and I are going to follow out. So one thing to note here is that when we go out, Tyrone and I, they're second to pop their Uber. So we know we're in trouble because Reptile also goes down. So immediately I'm thinking in this situation that I need to get out. So let's take a look at what happens. And we can see we're buffing Reptile up and he's going out. Tyrone calls for the Uber push and we start to move out. Now Reptile dies immediately. Let's go ahead and pause it. Reptile's dead. Our Uber is popped and they haven't popped yet, as I said. So we know that we're in a bit of trouble. So what I'm telling Tyrone is that let's start to move out when we get low on Uber, assuming they pop, which I'm sure they're about to do here now, and always have sort of a backup plan as a medic. So understand that, this is not the best situation for us and we're gonna have to get out. And it's so important that you understand that you need to stay alive, even if you have to disconnect. So sometimes I'll disconnect from Tyrone in order to just save my life. And I'll back up to who's usually Banny behind me. You can see he's going to be laying a lot of stickies just in order to help me get out. So let's go ahead and resume now. There they go, popping their Uber. Now as mine starts to wear out, they are trading, but I'm understanding, calling Tyrone, we need to get out of there. So we're backing up, getting out, and Tyrone is able to stay alive, and so is everyone else on our team. And we're able to sort of keep that advantage of holding mid. So it's so important. This is just the first clip of demonstrating, have a backup plan, understanding whether or not your Uber is good compared to theirs, and knowing when to get out. Okay guys, here we are in the same match, and this is a situation where our team has just lost 2 players. So we're starting retreat up top, and we know that the lower half of the map is open. So what I'm saying is they can push out fairly easily throughout that lower area, and we're not going to be able to really cover it much. So in this situation, this is sort of demonstrating how game awareness is so huge, because I understand, our whole team understands that we're down 2, and if they Uber, I'm going to need to save Banny and Tyrone. And the reason I'm going to have to save both of them is because we don't have the reinforcements for just Tyrone to take on, their entire team. So Banny's going to have to be alive. So you'll notice here as we go ahead and resume now, we get the call that they're moving lower. Banny starts to take a lot of heat, and he's calling that their combo is actually pushing out. It's just us 3 up top, us 4, including the scout. So I save Banny right there. I save him because it's so important that he stays alive, and now I need to move with Tyrone. so he can clean up whatever's at last. But it's so crucial that understanding that in that situation you cannot let Banny die. You can't let your demo man die, because or else it would just be an absolute disaster. And although we're not able to get last, we're able to hold our ground again, which is so important. And again, I had a, always have a backup plan. So if things don't go well with Tyrone, he goes down, I move up to Banny, he's able to protect me, and it ends up working out here in this situation. Alright, so this is a little bit later in the match, and this particular clip is going to demonstrate how taking in just one person or your pocket soldier on an Uber and making them trade can really be beneficial. So this video is obviously going over a lot of little things here and there regarding Ubers, but most importantly is sort of understanding that keeping your pocket soldier alive is so crucial, and understanding that having great game awareness is going to really help you improve your game. So let's go ahead and resume here. And we can see that we know they have Uber. We're pushing last, a very tough point to push on Gullywash, and Tyrone and I just go in. Now here we go, we pop the Uber, and look at how often they're trading it. So we understand that they're trading the Uber a lot. So I'm calling for our team to come in after this Uber, because I know that they're going to be, some of their members are going to be weak, and Tyrone and I can sort of hold this upper area while the rest of our teammates come in. So although I went down there, that was a really good push, because we saw that them trading their Uber meant that once it wore off, a few of their members would be weaker than Tyrone, obviously would be at 300 health. And then all of our teammates who were not in the fight at all were able to come in, clean up with their full health, and we sort of had height advantage too. So you saw Tyrone and I sort of back up a little bit there, hold that upper area, call for reinforcements. So again, it's just understanding the situation. We understood that we were going to be able to win that fight. We had a better Uber than they did, and we just called for our team to come in and help clean up. So in certain situations, if they say had height advantage there, if they had a better Uber than we did, I would be thinking immediately of what's my escape route? Do I need to call for Banny to come in lower and lay stickies for me to get out? Do I need to call for one of my scouts to sort of come help me get out the left-hand tunnel or the right side? You need to be thinking about these things constantly as a medic. So this video is sort of just going over little things, but things that are very, very important. So you can fix a lot of things that I'm talking about. It's just going to sort of take practice and understanding of the game. So let's go ahead and move on to the next clip. Alright, so for the last Gullywash clip, we're going to take a look at how keeping your head on a swivel and sort of understanding where your other teammates are can be really crucial. We're going to look at an Uber situation where they hit Uber before us, and so I'm able to keep not only Tyrone, obviously, pocket soldier, alive, just really stressing that in this video if you couldn't tell. I'm also going to be able to keep Banny alive. So I flash him once, but you'll notice that as the Uber wears off, I'm keeping my head on him. So if he's in any immediate danger or threat, you need to protect him, you need to keep him alive, because you have a longer Uber than the opposing team. I see so often that a medic will just Uber one person and he won't look around. He'll just go straight forward, gung-ho, follow the pocket soldier, which is good to a point, but in order to be one of the top medics or in the upper echelon of medics, you need to have great game awareness and not only follow your pocket soldier, but keep your head on a swivel and understand who's in danger, where do you need to go when the Uber runs out, all this sort of things that I'm going over in this video. So let's resume now, and we're going to run this at 50% speed, because I really want you to sort of be able to take a look at how this Uber is ineffective, but at the same time, me getting out of this situation alive allows us to maintain our position at middle. So let's go ahead and resume. Taking a look at us moving in the lower corridor in Gullywash here, and we get the call, they're Ubered first here. If you can see, they're pushing right into us Ubered. So I start by Ubering Tyrone, and I immediately flash Banny. And I flash him because he's took a rocket or a sticky immediately, and he needs to be saved. I don't want him to take any more damage. And as the Uber's wearing out, I'm keeping my head on Banny. Although, obviously Tyrone stays Ubered, I keep my head on Banny, and here we go. We're starting to lose players, but Banny has Banny and I are able to make it out with our scout and sort of hold our position at mid for the time being. But I just wanted to demonstrate how, you need to have awareness, keep eyes on your other players and not let them die if it's something crucial. If a scout happens to run in and you can't save him, or you have a worse Uber, you have to let them go. But keeping your pocket soldier alive and your demo man is just so crucial in order for, you know, your push to be successful, or if it's not, like in this situation, in order for you to hold. Alright, so for these clips we're going to be moving over to Warmfront, which is sort of an interesting map. There are some pretty big chokes similar to Gullywash, but there obviously are some different situations as well. Here we're going to take a look at pushing back onto 2 with Uber. And 2 of their members just went down, so this is a good situation to Uber in. Here I just want to stress that I don't like to milk Uber, meaning I don't like to wait to take damage until I'm in immediate damage or Tyrone's in damage, for a few reasons. One, because if I drop the Uber here, the round's pretty much over, assuming they have Uber, which in this case they do. Number 2 is that if Tyrone takes damage, say he goes down to 100 health, not only can I not really flash anyone with the Uber, but by the time the Uber runs out, if I don't flash anyone, he'll be at full health. But if I have to, which I would probably most likely want to do in this situation, we're going to be in a bad situation. Vice versa, if I take the damage here, we're also going to be in a bad situation, because by the time the Uber runs out, I'm not going to be, you know, in great shape, meaning I could take a rocket or a sticky and go down. So in this situation, I really like to pop early. And, you know, all medics are different. Some of the top medics prefer to milk Ubers, some like to pop early. For me, it's pretty situational. So here, I'm going to pop early. Let's go ahead and resume and see what happens. So we're going in. Obviously, they're down 2. We just lost Mackie. We pop early, as I said, keeping Tyrone at full health and me at full health. They're switching Uber a lot, and I'd like to have someone come in. So I'm able to see the tail end of that Uber. I'm able to flash Sizer, and he's able to go clean up the scout along that tunnel. And we're able to retake, or excuse me, stop the point from them taking it. So successful Uber there. I just wanted to sort of point out Ubering early there was fine, because we're able to get them to split, and at the tail end of the Uber, I can afford to flash 1 or 2 members, because Tyrone's going to be at full health because he didn't take any damage, and I'm going to be okay not needing the health pack as well. So this situation just sort of demonstrates how popping Uber can be effective if it's in the right sort of scenario. Alright, so moving forward a little bit more in this match, this is where I sort of made a little bit of a mistake. And for this Uber, we are looking down the right side tunnel, pushing into the second point. And I wanted to pop Uber onto Sizer and quickly flash Tyrone so Sizer can get out of the way. However, if you're playing medic, you know that sometimes that's not always possible. Sizer gets in the way, someone else gets in the way. So by the time I'm able to actually get to Tyrone, he's extremely low. And I just wanted to point out and demonstrate how in this Uber, by no means would I switch the Uber off of Tyrone, because I need to keep my pocket alive. He's the one who's going to be able to get me out of the fight if we have to retreat out of this right side corridor. And not only would I not switch the Uber to anyone else, but I would be calling for my team that I cannot afford to sort of flash them. And see that I'm really struggling with keeping flashing the Uber to Tyrone, and that Sizer gets most of it. And although we are able to sort of go back in, should I had to you know, retreat out of that right corridor, Tyrone would have been the one who would been able to help me the most in this situation. Alright, so here's another situation where Tyrone and I go and Uber in the main corridor, pushing into second point, and we're able to make them split their Uber, and keeping it on Tyrone, obviously, as I've explained, allows me to sort of make it in further, get out easier, because I'm not having to flash it. But in this situation, I just want to demonstrate how I'm keeping an eye on my other players, whoever's coming through that door, if they need to be flashed. If I can afford to flash them, judging on how the fight goes, then I will. So in this situation, I opt to flash a scout in the upper left as he's sort of chasing someone last. So here we go, hopping the Uber. They lost their demo, so their medic wasn't able to keep their demo alive. I'm keeping my head in the swivel, and I see a scout is moving in the upper left corridor. I know Tyrone's safe, so I'm able to take my head off him because Banny's doing damage along with you know, Clockwork. So in this situation, just want to demonstrate once again, being aware, keeping your game awareness up, understanding the flow of the game, knowing when you're able to pop or when you're able to switch, when you're not, and those sort of things. So we have one more clip for you guys. Alright guys, for the last clip, this is a similar situation to the last one. We're going to run it at 50% speed once again, and we're going to take a look at how if I'm not Ubering Tyrone and he becomes an immediate target, I flash him before he takes any immediate damage, so he can contain that 300 health that, you know, will help him succeed after the fight, after the Uber wears out, etc. So let's go ahead and resume at 50% speed. So another situation, they have Uber, we have Uber, so we're going to go ahead and just pop early. Again, stickies, a lot of spam coming in as you come through this doorway. Pop on Tyrone, and I quickly flash to a scout that I get the call is running behind me. Should be coming in the door here soon enough. And now let's go ahead and pause it now at 16 minutes. As you can see, I flash it right back to Tyrone. I saw the down man is on him. If I didn't hit him with the Uber and a pipe hit him, he'd only be at, you know, around 200 health. So if you're able to flash and keep your pocket soldier healthy and alive, and I keep stressing this stuff, but keeping him alive, he's sort of the, you know, the backbone of your team. The medic's the core, he's the backbone, he's the leader usually, generally making the calls, leading the pushes. So keeping him alive while having great game awareness, understanding where your teammates are, how the fights are going in Uber, all these sort of things just can add up to making you just a stronger medic. And everyone makes mistakes, obviously. I showed you a clip where I messed up. It happens, you know, from time to time, even to the best medics in the game. So just really working on it, playing the game a lot, talking with your teammates, getting on the same page, you know, getting that chemistry down, all that stuff can really help you succeed. So I just sort of wanted to point out clips like this. If you like this format and want to see something similar in the future, please let me know, or if you have any suggestions, as always, comment in the forums or right here on this video. Thanks a lot, guys. It's CB with My Gaming Edge.